this would be part 4 of section 4.4. I am going to be reworking 2 problems from the back page of the notes. And these are ones where you have multiple approaches to the problem, and I'm going to show you an alternate way to solve these particular ones. I mentioned these alternate ways as I worked them the first time. Okay, but I had this problem, and one of the things that we did is we noticed that log base 2 of 4 is equal to 2. So we have 3 times log base 2 of x minus 1 is equal to 5 minus 2. So I had 3 log base 2 of x minus 1 is equal to 3. So I would work it exactly the same up until this point. Now, what I did previously is I divided both sides by 3 because it gave me something very nice. But I mentioned that I also had the option of moving this 3 up here as an exponent. And I'm going to work it that way this time. So I have log base 2 of x minus 1 to the 3rd power is equal to 3. All right. So now I have a single log equal to a number. I'm going to switch over to exponential form. I'm going to take this and move it over here, and it's going to become 2 to the 3rd power. So I have x minus 1 cubed is equal to 2 cubed. Okay, now you could rewrite this as 8, but I'm not going to, because what you're going to see here is when you have something cubed, just like we take the square root of both sides for the square root property, I'm going to take the cube root of both sides to get rid of this cube. Now, when I take the square root of both sides, I have to use a plus or minus. If I were taking the 4th root of both sides, I would have to use a plus or minus. But with cube roots, 5th roots, any kind of odd root, you do not get a plus or minus. These simply undo each other. So what I have here is x minus 1 is equal to 2. And then I would add 1 to both sides to get x is equal to 3. And this is exactly the same answer we got before. If you want to compare the 2 methods, see if I can put these side by side. Not quite. Okay, what we did here, we ended up dividing by 3, and we ended up with something that's a little bit nicer. We did not have to remember to take the cube root of both sides, but it is workable using either method. Now, the one I'm going to work now is this last one, and remember, it had no solution. So, and I mentioned this as well, that I combined these 2, and then I left this alone, and then I just dropped the logs. But I did mention that we could bring everything on the same side. So I'm going to work it that way. I'm going to repeat this first step of combining these 2 together using this first property right here, where I have log of 2x minus 1 is equal to log of 3 times x plus 3. I don't need that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, here I just dropped the logs previously and we solved the arguments equal to each other. I am allowed, though, to subtract this over here. So what that would give me is log of 2x minus 1 minus log of 3 times x plus 3 equals 0. Now I have these on the same side. They have the same base, but they're subtracted. So I can use property number 2 and combine these into one division argument. So this is the same thing as log of. It's this one over this. So 2x minus 1 over 3 times x plus 3 equals 0. Okay. Now we have a single log equal to a number, so we can switch this to exponential form. Remember, this has base of 10, so this comes over here. And what I end up with here is 2x minus 1 over 3 times x plus 3 is equal to 10 to the 0 power. Now anything to the 0 power is 1, so I'll have 2x minus 1 over 3 times x plus 3 equals 1. Now this is a rational equation, and what I want to do is I want to multiply both sides by this denominator. And so this cancels this, and the equation we end up solving is 2x minus 1 is equal to 3 times x plus 3. And if you look back at the first time we worked it, we ended up with exactly the same equation here as we have right here. So two very different directions, and as soon as we get to here, of course, dot, 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 you get x equals negative 10, which has to be thrown away. Okay? So you have options here. You should not stress about finding the quote-unquote best way to get these solved. Finding the best way or the quickest way comes with a lot of practice. So for right now, if you see a way to do something, go with it. Don't sit and stress about, is this the best way? Is this the quickest way? Don't worry about it. That comes with years of practice. And as you can see, you really do have options. You have a lot of different things you can do first on several of these problems.